おり貸ししますって話で。はい、中華そば三鷹です。どちらですか？昼と夜ですか？昼はですね、14時までに並んでいただければ大丈夫です。はい、よろしくお願いします。すいません。はい、すいません、お願いします。混んでますか？
混んでいますね。
そうですね。ちょっとどんぐらい並んでますか？後ろが見えませんでした。見る余裕がないです。はい、かしこまりました。今兄さんが五目チャシューのキーマもやし、お姉さんは油玉もやし。
So that was Chukasoba Mitaka here in Mitaka. I'm here with Cody, aka Ramen Guy Japan, and we just had some really classic, but I would say also modernized Chukasoba here in Mitaka, in a very interesting shop. Like Stamina Suzuki or the Suzuki shop is also underground, but looks like one of those old school yatai, like really old school setups. What brought us here? What did you think about the bowl that we had?
Yeah, so the shop itself is a pretty classic, been around for ages here in Mitaka. And yeah, never been, so I figured today, being very nice and cold, would be a perfect time to go. And had some very heartwarming bowls of ramen. It's weird, I guess it's technically like one of those old school chuka styles, but the noodles were just like incredibly thick. And yeah, I just thought it was like a perfect bowl for this weather, essentially. About to snow here.
Yeah, and I think there were a couple of components that were quite interesting. One, I think you started with the noodles. First, he has like one noodle pot, like a water pot that he boils everything in, and he doesn't seem to like exchange the water whatsoever.
He even was cooking the eggs in there to make, so rather than having like a marinated ajitama egg, like a soft-boiled egg, he does kind of like a poached egg inside the water, which I thought was quite unique. I didn't order that as a topping for my bowl, but I saw him making it and I was just like, wow, just like boils anything.
Yeah, and you can see like the water is quite starchy. But what's interesting then, I think he takes out the noodles quite early and then puts them in the bowl, and then only after that he starts boiling the wantan. So actually the noodles sit in the soup for quite a while. So we expected that, or at least I expected that the noodles will be quite soft, but because they're so substantial, so thick, they still had almost like an al dente bite to it, which I thought was really surprising. And normally with that kind of bowl, you get like normally thinner noodles, but because the soup is so punchy, there's so much MSG in it. And I saw him like ladle, I think it's a full renge, like those classic ramen spoons full of tare and 2 spoons of oil. So that's a heavy bowl right there, heavy hitter, and just a whole lot of MSG. You have some chashu as topping, which I think I can recommend, but it's like lightly seasoned classic pork chashu. The wontons were nice. I mean, you don't go there for the filling, but just the texture change, he puts just so many of those in there. I think like 8, 9 or something like that. It's a lot. But they have a nice texture, which really works well in contrast with the al dente thick noodles. And yeah, overall, I think pretty cool shop. Run by a really young guy, apparently.
I think it's the second generation, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, he runs it, I think, with his mom in the back, and then has like a younger staff that kind of guides people to the table.
Yeah.
But yeah, really well run. Even though there was a line, I think we breezed through that line quite quickly.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely recommend making a visit if you're ever in Mitaka.
Yep. And that's, I think, all we can say about this shop for today. Thanks for watching. Check out ramenguidejapan.com. And yeah, if you want to listen to us talk about ramen a little bit more in depth, we just published a new episode of the Ramen in Japan podcast, recapping our ramen year 2023. So maybe give that a listen, Ramen in Japan podcast, wherever you listen to your podcast. And yeah, that's all from us for today. See you in the next one.